Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to a brutal attack play by the latest version of Stockfish, the powerful Stockfish 16. Today we see the fish battling it out against another top engine Minic in a wild attack against the Taimanov Sicilian, and this attack that you see now is sort of a Mike Tyson attack. From the round one, Stockfish brutalizes its opponent, doesn't allow its opponent to breathe here. Really crazy attack against the Taimanov Sicilian. Pay good attention and enjoy in this wild spectacular battle. Played by Stockfish 16. So with the white pieces, the fish open with the move e4. We have c5 by Minic, the Sicilian, knight to f3, e6, the French variation, c takes d, knight takes d, and now after knight to c6, knight to c3, and a6, we have reached now the Taimanov Sicilian. Now Stockfish goes into a very popular line now these days, knight takes c6, and it seems so that this could be a little bit strange because, okay, black is having now this powerful center, will also play, of course, the move d5, has now c6, d5, e6, has a nice grip here in the center of the board, but the dark square problems are something that I think bother black in the continuation of the game. And after move bishop to d3, of course, black continues with the normal plan d5, but white doesn't react. That's now the most important thing here to say. If you react here, if you play e takes d5, this wouldn't be good, because after something like c takes d5, black is a solid structure. Black will play bishop to e7, knight to f6, will play obviously here something like rook to b8, will simply continue the pressure on the b file, on the c file, by playing the move queen to c7, and slowly, maybe even somehow, if it's possible, play the move e5, and then with these two mobile powerful pawns in the center of the board, we'll let them roll, and this could be a devastating position here for white. I'm not saying this completely busted or something for white, but this could be very dangerous to go like this. So that's why Stockfish doesn't react. Stockfish plays now simply kingside castling. What should you do? In the game, knight to f6 was played, but many of us, I think, would be tempted to play the move d4. And it seems like a normal idea to play the game like this, but actually, after move knight to e2 and you play something like e5, white can break now the position with the move c3. And although you have this space in the center, this could be very tricky for you to handle. For instance, even if you try d takes c3 here, white doesn't have to even react. White could play here calm move queen to c2. And now look at this. After c takes b2, bishop to b2, you have to play now f6, and basically black is busted here. White has now so many good moves. There are so many good moves, I think. There's so many great opportunities here for white, that I'm not seeing good reactions here for black. Queen on c6 is coming, rook on d1 is coming. So there's so many good moves, like there are probably genders in the USA. You know, there are about 100 good moves here for white. So really crazy position this would become. I think this would be not a good continuation for black. So you see, you don't have time to expand here in the center of the board. You have to now first develop your pieces. But now after move rook to e1, again Stockfish keeps simply the grip around the square e4, and now he's trying, of course, to get the e5 goal, get some spaces on the king side, and now with the beautiful bishop here to attack this side of the board. Even if you take again, nothing dramatically changed. We play knight to e4, knight to e4, rook to e4, then suddenly you have lost your main strength that you had lost your, of course, space control in the center of the board. So here we have here rook from rook to e1, we have bishop to e7 played by Minic, we have bishop to f4, queen to a5, we have queen to f3 here by Stockfish, simply putting more pressure against the center, also develop the queen on a good square, and in some lines, if possible, if it's possible, if something clears, then the rook on a could be hanging. I'm telling you this because this move queen to f3 will be very important here in the continuation of the game. Here kingside castling was played by Minic. Rook from a to b1, we have rook to e8, a3 by Stockfish. You cannot play here bishop to a3. It's again tempting maybe to somehow after b takes a3 to grab the knight, but then of course after rook to a1 the bishop gets trapped. The game is over here for black. So after move a3, queen to c5 was played by Minic, and now Stockfish plays this expansion that we have talked about in the center of the board. Now the knight gets deflected from the defense of the square h7, and now there are many great opportunities. Rook lifts are possible. This is a weakness. Bishop is targeting already there, and Stockfish continues now, even with the best plan, of course, here with the beautiful b4 move. You cannot take, of course, here the knight on c3, then you get a different kind of Greek gift. You get this beautiful bishop takes h7, and while the king is having fun with the Trojan horse, of course, you're taking his queen out to dinner here. So look at this, the queen is hanging on c3. This would be, of course, also a beautiful, spectacular tactic. So that's why with the move b4, of course, Minic didn't fall for this, but the queen is out of game now. Really good moves here by Stockfish in the beginning. Again, a sort of a dirty trap by Stockfish 16. Now comes knight to a4, preventing basically the move c5. c5 actually black wants to play. But look what would have happened if c5 happens. Then we have, again, a different kind of great gift tactic here. Again, bishop takes h7 would be a possibility. This wasn't played in the game, but look how crazy this attack can be. After king to h7, queen to h5, you have to go to g8, and now we have the rook lift. And when there is a rook lift by Stockfish, you can resign immediately game. You can pack your things, you can pack your cases, and you can go home, because the rook is obviously coming in a brutal, spectacular way into the game. You have to play something like g6, then we play rook to g3. You could maybe include the bishop into the game, but now look at this, queen to h4, bishop to e7. We can even trade off the bishops, getting rid of the last defender of the king, and now after something like, I don't know, knight to f8, look at this, rook to h3, we can take it out. Now this other rook is coming into the game. So there are many variations, but obviously here black is busted. In some lines we can of course also try knight to c5, but the main pressure here is, for instance, something after c takes b4 to simply get a rook here, get also the rook on h3. You can even in some lines, for instance, sacrifice the queen. That's just a line that I wanted to show you. For instance, even queen sacrifices are possible in this wild attack by Stockfish 16. So look at this. So that's why c5, as I said, is here not a possibility. You would love to play this move because you have a great protection of the c5 with the knight, with the bishop, with the queen, but the Greek gift tactic is simply too powerful here against black's king. So after move knight to a4, that's why here g6, first of all, played by the Minic engine. Stockfish continues now with the move c4, battles against this powerful structure that black has built in the beginning, and now we have the move a5 by Minic. And now comes actually the dirty idea about this move, queen to f3. Stockfish plays now the brilliant b5. Look how Stockfish battles against the space advantage that black has here on the queen side. Really cool move here. After c takes b5 that Minic played, Stockfish doesn't care for the knight, plays now the brilliant c takes d5. If you play here b takes a4, this wouldn't be good because then this one is coming. d6, you have to step back, but now we play bishop to e3, kicking away the queen. Now, okay, black can try this one, knight to e5, but this is now really dirty what Stockfish is doing. Look at this. Now we play queen to e4. Still the knight is hanging, still the queen is hanging. You have to go with your queen on d7, and now we don't pick up here the piece immediately because knight to d3 is going to happen. What we are trying to do is, first of all, bishop to b5. This would be the way to go. Look at it. You have to step back, and now we pick up simply the rook on a8, and this is, I think, a much better continuation again for white. This pawn is weak. You can, of course, endanger a little bit the queen, but we trade it off, and this is, I think, game over here for black. Really wild position. So see, after move c takes d5, you don't have time to pick up the knight. So that's why here bishop to b7 was played by Minic, but again, a dirty idea here by Stockfish. Stockfish plays now the move knight to c3. Minic again goes for the knight with the move b4, but now Stockfish again doesn't react, plays now beautiful bishop to e4. This is the way to go. Look what happens if you play b takes c3. This again wasn't played in the game, but then obviously rook takes b7 would be the best continuation. Queen to b7. Now we play d takes e6. This covered attack against the queen. You have to get step back. We first pick up, of course, the knight. Again, the rook is hanging. You have to react, and now we pick up the piece, and white is continuing the game with an extra bishop. This is again game over here for black. Really brutal tactics. So after move bishop to e4, as I said, you don't have time to pick up now the knight on c3. After rook to b8 that Minic played, Stockfish continues now with the move d6. Again, after bishop to b takes c3, this one is falling, so it's of course again not a good continuation here for black. So that's why after move d6, Minic continued with bishop to e4. We have knight to e4 by Stockfish, and now still the bishop on e7 is hanging. We have bishop to d8. Now Stockfish goes with the beautiful calm move h3, tries of course to have some breathing spaces for the king, and also maybe in some lines to expand here on this side of the board. We have queen to a8. What the Minic engine is trying to do now is somehow maybe after knight move to trade off the queen to simplify the game, and going with this 2 versus 1 pawn majority on the queen side, doing something at least on this side of the board. But now Stockfish plays a beautiful rook from e to c1, and this move is creating new madness. It seemed to me almost like Minic has defended this position, although this is not optimal. Of course, this is an annoying pawn to handle, but many pieces are suddenly defending the dark squares, and as I said, it seemed to me that this could be somehow defended, but that's just only me. Look what the fish is doing. After move h5, Stockfish plays now a beautiful rook to c7. Brutal move. What should you do? For instance, if you try here bishop to c7, then d takes c7, you have to play here rook to c8. But now we don't want to even play some stupid forks or something, because as I said, we want to keep the queens on the board when we are on the attacking side. Now bishop to h6 is actually winning the game, because look at this. After rook to c7, now the queen comes in a beautiful way into the game. We want, of course, to move the knight, so that's why we're moving the queen to f4. You have to play something like queen to d8 in order to get the new piece into the defense. But now rook to d1 paralyzes now the knight. What should you do? You're trying queen to e7. Now look at this. We sack another piece here. Rook takes d7. We deliver a fork, and after something like king to h8, we pick up here the rook on e8. If you play queen to e8, then queen to f6 is of course winning the game. Otherwise, if you don't react, of course, to this move, then we're continuing the game with two minor pieces against the rooks. This is still a messed up position here in front of black's king, so it's again a devastating position here for black. What you could do here, instead of this move queen to d8, you could maybe try the move knight to f8 to somehow get a new defender into the game. But again, queen to f6 is winning the game. So there's simply too many dark square problems here in black's camp. So look at this, rook to c7, brilliant, really beautiful, spectacular move played by Stockfish 16. B takes a3, that's by the Minic engine, trying somehow maybe even to deflect the queen from this brutal attack. But now Stockfish continues the pressure with rook takes b8. We have rook takes queen takes b8. We have rook takes d7. Now Minic relies on this beautiful passer here that could be promoted here to the a1 square. But now Stockfish plays a beautiful, spectacular, defensive but also counter-attacking move, bishop to c1. If you here, of course, promote to queen, then there is a problem. This king wanted to have two wives and got punished for that, because now he got checkmated with queen to f7, queen to h7. So here you get punished by not practicing monogamy here. So it's really, really crazy position. Look at this. This bishop on c1 is holding the position on the back rank. Really, really wild stuff. So that's why after bishop to c1, the Minic engine tried to protect the f7 square. But now Stockfish plays a brutal, a spectacular move. Maybe you can pause the video and just for fun try to see now the winning idea here for white. Pardon me. White moves and wins the game. Try it out. It's really crazy what the fish is doing here. Look at this. There is also the potential promotion on a1, but this is really crazy. Okay. Stockfish played now the beautiful rook takes d8. Stockfish simply relies on this dark square problems more than on this promotion by black. What should you do? If you play here something like rook takes d8, the issue is now after queen to f4, you could promote now to a new queen, but now after knight to f6, you cannot go here to g7 because you get checkmated with queen to h6, so you have to run towards the square f8, but now we deliver a new check, and again, it would be a beautiful, beautiful checkmate. So here, after move rook to d8, what can you do? If you promote here to queen, you can do it, of course, too. Then we play rook takes f8. We don't pick up the queen on b8. We're trying to get the king here very, very exposed, and then we play again queen to f4. What should you do? If you take, of course, the piece on c1, then we'll simply take it, and white is continuing the game with the next piece. If you try to again escape with king to e8, then we have this one, knight to c5, with the preparation to play the move d7. This will be really, really an epic continuation. Look at this. You play queen to a7, now we play d7, and obviously you have to now give up the queen for the pawn and the knight, but still again, white is continuing the game with an extra piece. If you don't react to that, then for queen to f6, king to c7, we promote a new queen. This is game over. this would be again also a spectacular ending of this beautiful game. So after rook to d8, that's why queen takes d8 had to be played, but now Stockfish has time to go for this pawn on a2 in the game. Queen to h4 was played by Minic. Knight to f6, of course, first by Stockfish delivering a check. After king to g7, queen to a2 in this particular position, Minic resigns. So what's the issue? Of course, you could try something like queen to d4, but then the defensive plan is this one. Queen to d2 is solving all of the positional problems. If you of course trade off here the pieces, then this pawn has a clear path, will simply support it by the bishop. You will eventually give up the rook for the pawn for sure. Or if you play after queen to d2 something like queen to e5 here, then you get the fork. Knight to d7, you have to step back with the queen, we pick up the rook, we have a passer, and we have an extra piece. That's just game over here for black again. So really brutal attack, really Mike Tyson attack by Stockfish 16. I really enjoyed this game because it had so many dirty tactical elements, really traps all over the board, and then in the end this spectacular rook takes d8, letting the position explode. In my opinion, really beautiful gameplay by Stockfish 16. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas here by the fish. If you want to see more epic, brutal, spectacular chess games like this, check out our commented chess games played by computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.